What?
The one's called Air Commando.
Whoa. Hey, come on.
Hey, Bookforce, and welcome to GI Joburg, episode 404. I'm joined by the usual criminals, Rob on my side and Stephen
Yeah.
at the bottom. Say hello, guys.
Hey, guys.
And
Hello.
of course, myself,
Oh.
Paul. And yeah, how are you, gents? Are you guys good? Are we excited at this time of the year? Are you filled with Yuletide joy?
It's a
Mm.
festive time. It's a summertime. It's time to break out your Air Commandos and
Heck yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, oh,
hit
Oh
him
my
oh,
into a
goodness.
oh,
headwind.
oh, oh. Anyway, yeah, that's what this episode's all about, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm.
Air Commandos. And
How? How did we
how?
get here, Paul?
How do we get here? Well, so when I was, summarily shipped off to Cape Town recently for your birthday, uh, we did somehow indulge in using the Air Commandos in a play session, and then it got me thinking when I got back to South Africa, when I got back to Joburg, because Cape Town does feel like another country. Um,
Eh,
it got me thinking, like, the last time I was in Cape Town, we also played with the Air Commandos, and so I had to scratch out, uh, go and pull out this big bad guy over here. That's Air Commandos Spirit, whom I absolutely love, and it got me thinking about the Air Commandos, what their role is, what's the whole vibe, how many of us really played with these guys, that whole thing. So that's definitely on the agenda tonight. We're definitely going to cover some Air Commandos. So if you guys are if you, dear listener and viewer, are fans of the GI Joe Air Commandos, please go and dig through your toy bins or whatever it is. Go and pull out some, and let's play with toys together. But first, I feel like there's something else some other ground we have to cover just before we get into everything. So, any new toys, gents? This is a leading question. Rob says no.
no, obviously. No, I never get new stuff.
It's the build up to Christmas. Anything new would not be being opened in December. December's like
Ooh.
toy opening amnesty because it has to find its way under the tree.
That's right. It's
Mm.
Mm.
supposed to. Um, I recently received a shipment from a friend of mine, actually, who grabbed one or two small Gundam items for me that I shipped over recently. It was a smallish box of things, but he is also a GI Joe fan and a viewer and enjoyer of GI Joburg, and he snuck in a bit of a surprise for me. And this is a toy that a figure that I absolutely love, of a character that I absolutely love, and it is Battle Core Shipwreck.
What?
What? Yes,
I guess completely wrong.
but you were so close, actually.
Ah.
Because although he's not a Navy SEAL, he
Hmm.
is he is like a man in a
Looks like.
wetsuit. So Rob, just so that everybody's a little bit more privy to that conversation, I asked the
Mhm.
guys if they could guess what it was, and Rob immediately shot off, "It's a Navy SEAL." Oh well, he shot off
That's a
Tracker.
tracker.
So I said he's close because he is kind of a Navy SEAL, or is a
Hmm.
Navy SEAL. And then one of you guys also shot off wetsuit, and I'm like, and I didn't want to tell you guys then, but I was like,
He's
it's sort of a
way
Navy SEAL in a
good.
wetsuit. And it's great because I also got his mask, his diving mask,
Ooh.
Very good.
which
Okay.
Essential.
is, as far as yeah, there you go. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what makes this guy complete, because the weapons that he does come with are technically weapons tree weapons anyway. They kind of other guys. I mean, he sent me a hit and run machine gun with the shipwreck, and I can't remember if the shipwreck is meant to come with that, but I know that it comes with Bullhorn's gun, or one of Bullhorn's guns, something
He
like
comes
Yeah,
that.
with the hit and
I was gonna
run,
say. I mean, yeah.
SMG,
Mm.
Bullhorn's bullpup rifle. He comes with it hit and run's knife, I think, and I think also a pretty
Yes,
standard BFG, missile firing, spring loaded. launcher. If anyone is wondering, my guess
All
was
things I can.
Finback the dolphin. You know,
Yeah, Steve guessed Finback, and one day I will have that grinning underwater mammal. But for now, that
grinning
porpoise
and
of
spitting. It's just you and me, Rob. Now we can talk about the Commandos because Paul has come back.
Hey, there it is.
there it is. Sorry, gents. I don't know what happens there when it does that. But
Very exciting. So,
But
anything
yeah.
else in this care package of joy? Just shippy?
Yeah.
no, just Shippy, man, just Shippy.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. So
Excellent.
like I'm very happy. I had to celebrate this because it is a Joe that I've wanted for a long time. Ever since we did the card art of him, like way back
Oh.
when, I was like, oh
Yeah,
my god, I have to
he
have this
definitely went
figure.
quite far in
Yeah.
the card art competition.
So yeah, so I'm glad to finally have him in my collection. So thank you very much. You know who you are. I'm not. You don't want to be named, so I won't name you. But thank
He
you
knows
for
though.
getting this guy.
He-
And this is his childhood shipwreck, as far as I understand.
Aw.
Yeah, this is the one he bought. He bought this off somewhere, possibly in card, and opened it himself when he was a kiddo. So
Wow.
it's cool. Yeah. So anyway, enough with my good fortune. Yeah, should we jump into some Air Commandos now that
Whoa.
I'm returned?
Commandos. Ooh-doo-doo-doo. So,
Hey, come on.
obviously, Air Commandos was 90s. So it was 91 and 92. We have 2 waves of these guys, 6 gliders in total. A nice even split between GI Joe and Cobra, and beautiful designs. I mean, every single glider is
Please continue, Rob.
it's all very unique. It is a unique glider. Such a unique glider. Each one is exceptionally unique, and there's
And so are the figures. With only one legacy character in a mix of 6, this kind of runs contrary to what you typically got with sub teams, where you
Mhm.
get like, either a 50-50 split between classic characters and new characters, or you get like basically just retreads of old figures.
Yeah,
I mean, Sky
repaints.
Patrol is that weird thing where they're all new characters, but they're all old molds. Eco Warriors has a Flint. It has
Mhm.
Toxo Viper. It adds a few other things. It has Barbecue. It has
Barbecue.
Wetsuit.
Barbecue.
Uh, Sonic Fighters start out as just like straight up repaint force, and then ultimately
Yeah.
by the Supersonic Fighters iteration, you've got new looks for Psych Out. You've got new looks for Zap. You've also got Rock and Roll, Falcon, Road Pig. You got a new look for Major Blood. The Sky Commandos represents like entirely new blood.
Mm.
In the Cobra assortment, Daredevil,
Yeah, devil.
Night Vulture, and Sky Creeper.
Sky
We
Creeper.
might get into the merits of it later, but I've always liked to play these guys as individuals. The file cards of Night Vulture and Daredevil make them out to be army builders, but I think these guys are so unique in their appearance and their characterizations, just the vibe that I get from them. I think to myself like, no, these aren't troops. These are like Cobra's elite sort of unpowered air commandos, for lack of a better term. But I'm getting ahead of myself, boys. I think the best thing to do at this point is to get anecdotal. I want to hear your stories as to where in your history of GI Joe collecting the air commandos kind of popped up. Did you embrace them at first? Did you play with them a lot? Were they kind of tangential? Were there things that you actively ignored? Did you see them at shops and thought that the swollen, sort of inflated figure and vehicle, in air quotes, price was too rich for your blood?
Yeah, it's a funny thing for me. I'm gonna shoot first on this one, but
Mm.
I remember seeing them in Pick and Pay, and they had quite biggish cards, and so they like definitely grabbed your attention. And I remember being like really really excited about these for some reason. Like I don't know what it was about them. There was it's just I suppose it's just the size and the excitement of like, oh my god, it's a big toy, and it can glide. And I remember like asking my mom if I could get one, and she like was like, yeah, you can. And so I had the difficult thing of having to choose one. And I ultimately like I went through all. So okay, we only had the four. I only remember the four, like Sky Creeper, Cloudburst, the other one, the other bad guy, the other bad Cobra one, and then Skymate.
Interrogator. I
No,
don't know.
no. And I remember, and then also I think the Battlecopters were out at the same time. And
They were released the same years, yeah.
yeah, but I think we
Originally.
had them in the store at the same time, because remember we got them like a year later. We got
True.
them in the following year, so I think they were around 93-ish. And I remember not being that interested in the Battlecopters at all, but just being fully into the gliders. I don't know what it was about the gliders that appealed to me. Anyway, like to get to my first one, is my first and only Air Commander that I ever owned was Skymate and his glider.
Mm.
And I ultimately settled on that because, although, and I'll be honest with you, it's my least favorite of the gliders. It is my favorite of the figures at the time, and I think it was his pink boomerang and the fact that you could pin the bow and arrow, or the bow to his chest, and that I just thought that was such a cool thing. That's what made me get him ultimately.
So you'd say it's the weakest of the gliders, but it's the
For
only
me,
one that has a
visually.
kind of a camo treatment to it.
Yeah, I think I just really love the bright and bold colors of the others.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would agree with you, Paul, and I'm tipping my hand. We should probably save this evaluation for the end. But I think Skymate is the man to beat in terms of detail, a fresh character, and very unique accessories. And boy, oh boy, if you happen to have them, you're sitting on some gold, my son.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Easily lost, easily
Got some
broken.
gold.
So yeah, so that was my first experience with them. And you guys, like, how did you encounter them? Like, was it later? Was it when they came out? What is the vibe?
Mine's gonna take a while, Rob. You might as well
I might as well go
get us
because
out
I'll
of the
keep
way,
mine
pal.
short. I guess I saw them in the shops, but I never bought them. The appeal of a glider was never that interesting to me. Um, I think of all of the play features that were introduced in the 90s was the least offensive one, because it was kind of so separate from the figures themselves that it really should have appealed to me. But just running around and throwing things wasn't something that I wasn't a big physical person. So like imagining myself taking my toy and throwing it away from me and having to go fetch it was not exactly like fun for me. A guy kind of like stayed at home all the time and played video games. Um, so no, I actually didn't own any Air Commanders whatsoever. My only interaction with Air Commanders was with Steven's Skymate and his glider. Um, I think other than that one, I didn't even realize until much later on when I found them, or maybe Steven told me, or we saw them in a guide or something. I probably forgot, but he was the only one that I ever thought existed, really. Yeah, I mean, I think I just forgot about them completely. I was just
I can relate to that,
no
though.
interest whatsoever.
I can relate to that, and without tipping too much of my hand before Steven gets into his
Mm.
story. So Spirit and Daredevil, whether they were, I don't know if they were on our shelves. So Steve, I might need you to clear that up for me. If they were, they just didn't register on my radar for some reason. They just like didn't click. But I can't imagine they were, because David was quite a fan of Spirit. So if he had seen Spirit, he would have grabbed one.
You would have grabbed him real quick.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so these guys, I just never saw them. I just never saw them
Okay.
on the
But
pics. Yeah, and
you do remember seeing the four others, including
yeah,
Skymate. Yeah.
and actually, admittedly, I didn't really register that they existed until like 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was Steve had gotten the Air Commando Spirit, Actually, I think it's a little bit longer ago, and I don't know why I just didn't click. I always thought that this spirit was some kind of like weird Euro exclusive or something, because I know there's that gray and black and red spirit that's also Euro exclusive. I don't know. I know he's in the books. I know he's in Bellamo's guide. It's like he was invisible on those pages. Like I never saw him. He never like
Yeah.
popped
Well,
up.
I mean, maybe we were reminded they existed because I think me and Steven made a video together. We were testing flying the air commandos.
Yes, there was that.
We were
Yeah.
kind of like chucking them around when Steven got, I'm gonna say, skyscraper.
Skyscraper. Yeah, Skyscraper. Brought him back from Singapore one year.
Yeah, and then we made a video with him and Skymate, I think it was,
Oh, mate.
throwing them around. But anyway, Steven, what is your history with these toys?
Well, I think I can corroborate with you, Paul, that Air Devil and Spirits probably weren't available in South Africa.
Crazy,
But the
because they
original
were
four,
wave 2, yeah.
yeah, the original four were seen at various points on pegs. I can distinctly remember CNA carrying them. CNA, the Central News Agency, now defunct. Basically a place where you'd buy stationery and newspapers and magazines. I mean, of course, that shit's gonna go out of style.
The video game magazines, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I do recall being 6 or 7 and being at a friend's parents' business. They were in carpeting, so we were kind of like sitting inside the store display like window, just waving at people. And eventually we got kicked out of there and told to go down to the mall. And that's when we saw at CNA. I distinctly remember seeing Cloudburst and Clean Sweep of the Eco Warriors. And me and this buddy debated who was going to choose who. Ultimately, I settled on Clean Sweep, and he got Cloudburst. But that was absolutely the first brushings I had with the Air Commandos. Flash forward to sometime later that year, my cousin came back from the States and brought me Skymate. And I have a sneaking suspicion because he is a New Yorker. I have and it had a price sticker that had been torn. The price was off, but you could clearly see it was a Toys R Us price sticker. And I was like, wow, please let my Joe, my token Joe from the United States, have come from Toys R Us on Times Square. That's just a double layer of cool. I'll tell you why. I mean, Toys R Us doesn't exist in the United States at all anymore. But that flagship store in New York on Times Square also disappeared.
Sadly.
I don't know when it was. I remember I did get the chance to visit it in 2007, so it must have been some time after that. But yeah, it closed its doors, as did the Virgin Megastore. Was it Virgin? Was it Tower Records? I don't know, whatever. There was a massive, famous record store that also shuttered its doors shortly after I visited it. I guess that was the curse. Tides changing. Anyway, that Skymate, very enduring. This is my childhood one. This is his original visor. His peg on his chest is cracked off. Unfortunately, some years back, you were actually around for this, Paul. I purchased another Skymate that had the boomerang and the bow. Man, how did they ever think this was a good idea to have a figure holding a bow that's so thin? That is literally like string made out of plastic, and it will always bow around his forearm.
I have this weird Mandela effect that they released that bow in a different color. Because I keep remembering, or misremembering rather, that I had used that bow with Storm Shadow for a while. So maybe I used that bow with Storm Shadow, or a similar bow that came from another toy line.
It's
But that
similar
bow is
to
so
version 2 Storm Shadow's bow, but it is absolutely distinct.
Yeah.
As well. And it is way thinner, I think. Certainly where the sort of simulated bowstring.
Yeah, that is an amazing mold.
I'm gonna take it out.
That came out of must have been incredibly thin.
And Steve, sorry, you triggered something now when you mentioned like you and your buddy in their parents' carpet shop, and you guys dicking around in the window. I mean, just like that's the type of shit we did as kids anyway. But like you guys running down to the shops, was that like a weekend or something?
No, after school. We were
Okay,
still in our uniforms,
Mm.
definitely.
okay, because that's actually the same thing for me with the Sky Patrols, with the Air Commandos Sky Patrol. Was my mom and I would. There would be very few instances where my mom would be home early from work that she would like be able to pick me up from school, and then we would go to Northgate for to go, and then we would just go to Northgate because my mom would be like, "Oh, I'm home. Let's go like check out the shops or something." And it's very seldom that she did that, and so invariably every time we did that, it would always be like, "Okay, would you go?" My dad would always like appreciate it if we went to Pick and Pay to just go and grab some grocery things and whatever, so that we didn't have to go to Spar later. Blah blah blah. Normal house shit. So that was also like a school day. Like I came out, after school, my mom picked me up, went home, got changed, went to Northgate, and then happened to find this at Northgate's Pick and Pay. And I know that what was pretty cool is I got it before David did. And then he would go and get Night Vulture, I think was his first one, on the weekend.
Guys pretty much got the two best ones off the bat.
Yeah.
Skymate and Night Vulture, yeah.
Yeah,
They're the
David
ones to
loved
beat.
Night Vulture.
I'd be very surprised if there are dissenting opinions on that one. Did some quick research on yojo.com. So in 1991, a single carded figure would cost you $2.60 at original retail price.
Mm-hmm.
The Air Commandos, so on that big old card
$5
with a massive glider attached, no, $2.99 is
Oh.
what yojo.com says, and that's astounding to me. That for only 40 cents more, you're getting a vehicle essentially.
Yeah.
But they were selling them as deluxe figures and not vehicles because they didn't come in a box. They came in a
On
bubble.
a card. Yeah.
Yeah. And what an
And-
assault on the senses that was to see these massive cards with this thing. And like, who here among us managed to keep the instructions intact after we ripped that bubble off? Not me. In
No.
fact, I got into my package so aggressively, I tore right through the file card. I got into that sucker so fast. Yeah.
Okay, madness.
And also, like you, Rob, I didn't use it. I must have chucked it a few times, certainly enough times to completely lose Skymate Boomerang, that original one. Because I mean, points for trying, Hasbro. Thanks for attaching his bow to his chest and his boomerang to his side, but none of that survived even one chuck without getting lost.
Yeah.
That is why this piece of pink plastic, is so hard to find because it just kind of friction fits to his side.
It's interesting. I wouldn't always call myself I wouldn't always call myself a risk averse person, but I am fairly risk averse according to some. But with that figure, I remember never throwing it with its weapons on.
Good.
Yeah.
Smart. You should have never thrown it with its visor on either. I mean, it's meant to land face down, and you got this flimsy piece of transparent plastic on the very flimsy brim of this guy's hat.
The
I mean, these
first
things
thing
got
to hit the
totaled, I'm
ground.
sure. But all it took was like my less risk averse friend of the time, Lyle, who had Sky Creeper, who had reckless abandon, climbing up to the top of the very 1960s steel slide set and chucking those suckers as hard as he could. And yeah, kid was a natural sportsman. He got a pretty hard tonk out of his glider. I couldn't match that. I was a weakling. So it was a bit sad. Like, and I couldn't get the technique right. I didn't get a very satisfying, flick of the wrist. So it is all in the wrist, much like throwing a frisbee. You got to get that last little bit of fast twitch muscle.
Aftertouch.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it was always like every time I threw one of these things, it would always go like vertical. So it'd be like forward and then up and then sort of Immelman and just down. Like,
oh, well, let's talk a little bit about the glider's structure because it's a nice glider shape. It's very aerodynamic. It actually, because it relies on a fold, it's a piece of, what is it, plastic sheeting?
Some kind of
vinyl,
PVC thing. Yeah. So it's some kind of
wha-
PVC. It's like that.
whatever the material
Yeah.
is, by folding it over like that, they've actually created an airfoil.
Mm.
Like, it's very, very clever. Like, instead of it just being a flat plate, which makes for a very shit glider, let's be fair, this thing does have a way of generating lift, but it's so heavily dependent on how you've bent it and shaped it. Like, these things are nowadays found in beta bins, horribly mangled,
Mm.
and you gotta put it in hot water or take a hair dryer, bend it back into its original aerodynamic intended shape. And even then, like, its own sort of biases will greatly affect the kind of flight that you get out of it.
Mm.
So I have all six, and none of them handle the same way. And there's a kind of a ranking that I have of like
Oh,
which one performs best and which one performs weak. Piss
how many
poor.
did you guys? Have you guys ever needed to climb onto a roof to go and rescue one of these?
No.
No. Like Rob, I know you didn't have them, but I know you've thrown Steve.
No, I
So
have
that's why.
thrown
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but no, I don't think I was able to throw it that hard. I think.
Yeah.
Best played with in a wide open field, my friend, with
Mhm.
soft grass for what will inevitably be a hard landing. I would also suggest that on most of the weapons systems on top of the glider, you turn them to face the back, because this thing will dink into the
Oh yeah,
ground.
mine
If
did.
there's a little rock sticking out, or if the heaven forbid a tree branch, you will snap those
Yeah, mine was always
little
brown in
barrels.
the front because of how many times it pegged into the ground. It'd go like up, like I said, it'd go up and then like peg in the ground. And there were two occasions where it landed on the roof. And the first one, my dad was very cool and he grabbed the ladder. And then I think that was one of the first times I climbed on the roof of our home. Um, and then I remember just sort of gently like throwing it down and it glided down nicely, and that was cool. I find these things work very well from high to low, personally. And then the second time, my dad was like, I'm just going to say it in English. Just basically like, you throw this thing on the roof one more time and it's going to die there, kind of thing.
Oh,
so, so
basta.
then I, so then I started throwing it without Skymate in it because I was like, on the off chance that like, I did get it on the roof again, at least I wouldn't lose out my toy. And guess what? I did, and it lived on the roof for quite a while. It actually ended up being quite faded because of the sun damage.
Sure.
It was like
Wow.
almost like a transparent green by the time I got it back. It's like my dad found it the one time because he was doing stuff on the roof, and he's like, "Oh, this is your cock. Here's your shit toy again," kind of thing, you know. In his
Man
weird
of his
way.
word.
Yeah, no, he was like that with that kind of thing. And yeah, and then I learned what 40 feet is. Yeah,
About
because
12 meters.
I asked like my parents, like, what the hell is a feet? Like I know it was a measurement of distance, but I was like,
But Paulie, you have 2 feet already. Why don't
yeah.
you know
So
the
my dad
40?
actually basically said it's basically the height of the house, more or less.
No, 12 meters would be higher than a house or one-story house.
Yeah.
But I'd say that estimate is kind of conservative. You could probably get almost double that with
Hmm.
a good throw, and maybe, a
Well, we
tailwind would
did.
obviously be of assistance.
Mhm.
Um, I learned when we shot our Air Commandos demonstration video all those years back, Robbie, I learned that the figure actually provides the essential weight. Because
Yes.
if you throw this thing into a headwind, so you got the wind blowing towards the glider, yeah, it's going to get so much lift,
You need
but it's
downforce.
going to flip itself over and just blow
Yeah.
back. The
Yeah.
figure will keep the nose coming down, so it will actually extend its flight. So a headwind with a figure is going to get you your best results, and your most dramatic flight. It will actually kind of lift a little bit, and like maybe do a little bit of buffeting before flipping or nose diving.
Hmm.
I must ask
Very
that.
exciting and completely unpredictable. These guys have got balls the size of oranges to go up in these fucking things.
Yeah, for sure. And that's actually something I wanted to bring up. If there's nothing else that you guys want to, well, I mean, we can always come back to playing with them.
The
But
type of person it takes
to jump
to
onto a
make
glider,
this their vehicle of choice, their
yeah.
chariot.
What is it with this? Like, I understand this fully as a toy concept. Like, I totally understand the Hasbro toy design team or Hasbro going, we should make gliders and sell them to kids. I'm down with that, but I'm just trying to think of the actual, let's call it real world or in universe scenarios where this works. And I know that we've played these out quite a few times, so we've really made it work. But or should I say, Steve has really led the charge on getting us to make this work. But is there any precedence for like military on gliders in a combat scenario? Like, is there anything for that, like, or behind that?
Yes.
Okay, tell us.
No ways.
Well, I mean, very recently, well, relatively recently to the recording of this podcast. I don't know if you know about Hamas's military action or terrorist action, depending on what your political view is within Israel. They used gliders, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. Low flying, hard to pick up on radar. That's how they crossed the border. I mean, they've crossed the border in multiple ways, but yeah, gliders, low tech stuff were used in those attacks. And
Okay.
now we're dealing with the consequences. So, the air commandos have power to tip the balance in global conflict.
That's kind of crazy. Well, I mean, just looking it up now, I mean, even like similar type vehicles, like essentially vehicles that look like aircraft but without propellers and stuff, were even used in World War II. So they were dragged along by powered aircraft to a certain point, and then released to allow them to actually glide troops as well as equipment into combat zones if necessary.
Interesting.
So as early as World War II, they were actually using these for military.
So there is a military precedent for this, because that's one thing. Like with Hasbro, I mean, I know that like it can get quite hokey if you look at like Eco Warriors and whatever's, but there was a glider in the original line, in the original 80s line. I think it's an 83 product, actually.
The Falcon glider and the Viper glider. Sure.
And those were made out of that same sort of material they used to pack your meat in, more or less. That kind of styrofoam foamy stuff. And I just always used to like wonder about that. And I'm sure I've Googled it and I just didn't really find anything. Or maybe my Google wasn't right for it, but damn. It's kind of interesting if you think about it. Like,
yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I mean, obviously they're not flying it. Like it seems, like it would often be used for the last stage or something. It's not like they were taking off themselves somewhere and then using them in active combat. There's more of like another form of transport, getting troops into an area in a way that I suppose was unexpected to the enemy. More than
it's
we're fighting each other in the air.
Think of a halo drop or low altitude, low opening drop. You still need aircraft to get you that horizontal travel. Whereas with a glider, you have the ability to kind of have that ferrying range from point A to point B. You're not kind of dropping straight down. You're able to move some distance, be it like from a mountaintop down through a border and into contact. And that's what these guys do, these crazy MFs. I have to admit, I have trouble integrating them into normal GI Joe infantry squads because they have such a unique specialization, because they are so heavily linked to being glider pilots. And that means that they seldom see action, because how often do you get an opportunity to use gliders? The most low tech, like they're right there with the Manta, wind-driven surfboard or windsurfer. Like these guys are as bare bones as you get, as rudimentary as you get. But if there is an opening for an air commander to use, I will do that. And that's why I decided to feature Sky Mate in a play motion presentation. A Cobra, very much inspired by Where Eagles Dare, and Cobra sort of nerve center or a server farm, basically. Cobra intelligence base, high up on a mountainside, surrounded by mountains and huge thermals and updrafts caused by this kind of valley that could be manipulated by a one-man wind-driven craft, air-driven craft. But I did also use some science bullshit. I mean, it was actually suggested to me in the comments section of the Sky Creeper review that this hoop, this ring at the back of the standard glider, was a kind of a Dyson, like a Dyson vacuum
Mm.
or Dyson hair dryer, whatever. You know, it's basically a
Okay.
blower. Like this ring would create some kind of propulsive force.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
it wasn't the Air Commandos review. It was on the Condor, the Cobra Condor review, where it was suggested that that ring at the back of the Condor is how it's propelled. The Dyson effect, if you will.
Oh, interesting. I like with those home fans that they kind
Yeah.
of have that shape.
Exactly. How do
Yeah.
they work?
Interesting.
I don't know. It's mystical. But basically,
Nice.
these gliders would have a similar like ability to kind of ferry themselves, you know, powered flight, but very
Mm.
low profile powered flight. You know, it's not creating heat
Mm.
like a you know a jet would.
Hmm.
So very undetectable, difficult to
Hmm.
detect. Yeah, fun stuff, man.
Crazy.
Of course, Cobra has this technology as well, and that explains how you're able to affix weapons to them and essentially dogfight these things around a bit because they have power.
Or we do. You
We do.
know.
We did.
We
We
do.
ran around
We
cursing
did.
Busch Gardens that day, Paul.
It was a good time.
Mad boys.
It
Oh.
was. It was a good time, and that's the thing. You know, we've played with these. I've at least had 2 scenarios of Air Commandos with you guys, or with you, Steve, and with you, Steve and Rob. You know,
Mm.
while I've been down in Cape Town, and I was just like, why have we never really spoken about Air Commandos? Like, it's clearly sort of an impressionable toy on us, you know.
Yeah.
And I got to say, of all of, you know, Hasbro in the 90s, you know, people want to talk about them going neon and all that. And yeah, I mean, without a doubt, they went neon, but they definitely went gimmicky. And they went gimmicky to try and get kids to go for a gimmick, but then end up with a great toy. And I think people forget that sometimes, that the goal of Hasbro was just to get kids playing with the best action figure that was available at
Yeah,
the
that's
time.
the thing. I mean, they tried so many different things. I mean, we literally just recently talked about Overkill. Yes, he comes with
Yeah.
this crazy talking backpack, but the toy itself is still a great toy. You know, he
Yeah.
wasn't taken over by the fact that he would had this electronic backpack on the back of him. You know, they still made an effort to make a good toy.
Exactly. And I feel like the gliders are definitely one of those sort of gimmicks that I think ended up being quite strong, because it's something you could
Mm,
enjoy with its gimmick and without its gimmick. And
yeah,
that has always been like a good signifier for me
yeah.
about of, is a gimmick fun? You know, if
And
you
as
can
I
have.
said earlier, it's one of the least offensive ones. You know,
Oh
like
yeah.
you can put down the glider and still play with the toy, and have it not affect the toy in any way whatsoever. Which I think is, you know, sometimes the best gimmicks. You know.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, if these guys, I mean, okay, I'm speaking primarily for Skymate and Cloudburst, but if these guys aren't like, you know, being air commanders, what else? What other specialities do they have, or specialties do they have? How else do you guys see them playing out as characters?
Gosh, I don't know. They really do feel specialized. I mean, obviously, like spirit is spirit. So
Yeah.
this is obviously a new skill that he's picked up. But I've never. I mean, also I don't know much about the other characters. I feel like they're just their names themselves kind of lend themselves to um their specialty. But then if you look at them, Cloudburst, his primary is aeronautics and his secondary is infantry. So he's obviously, you know, able to do something once he gets off this thing.
Yay.
And Skymate, being international, he doesn't really have primary and secondary, but he is SAS. So that
Yes.
once again suggests yeah, he does
So,
stuff.
so this is the thing. Skymate ended up not being one of my favorite Joes as a kid. Like, I
Ooh,
enjoyed a lot of elements about him, but eventually I just kind of, you know, I kind of got over him a little bit and more into other characters, you know, as we all do.
yeah,
But
for
one of
sure.
the things that had reinvigorated my excitement for Skymate was Steve's glowing sort of appraisal of him in an episode, I think in our early hundreds, which basically paints Skymate out to be like the Australian pink hat wearing Snake Eyes, basically.
Yeah.
um, But I loved how you did that because the SAS thing is nothing to scoff at. And if I was a child, if I was a child back then who knew what the SAS was, perhaps I would have looked at him differently. Because we knew what a Navy SEAL was because Hollywood told us what a Navy SEAL was.
Yeah.
But Hollywood didn't tell us what an SAS dude was, or you know what I mean. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and SkyMate is really cool, which is why I think Spirit being the leader of the Air Commandos is a bit strange for me. It's a bit difficult for me to take in.
Well, I guess because he's the only named character. He's the only character that people knew before this. All the other people are new people.
It's like he's a great toy. And I guess that his relationship with freedom gives him some, I don't know, insight to unpowered flight somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I think there was the missed opportunity with Spirit, however. Like, okay, well, look, his glider is a glorious thing. If you're not aware of it and you don't have us up in front of you on the YouTubes, it is all glory, man. It is stars and stripes everywhere. It has one printed American flag. The whole
We agree, Steve. Steve has just been sucked into the molasses that is sometimes South African internet.
Right, am I back?
There he is. There he is returned. Yes.
So, Spirit's glider, very stars and stripy, very patriotic, and this is a valid reading of Spirit's character. He is in the armed services, and having the American flag is, of course, something that he's entitled to wear into battle, I guess. I don't know. I'm curious to know what his sort of community thinks of that, because like amongst indigenous persons, a Union flag like this, or the Union flag from the United Kingdom, or Australian's flag, like it can be a bit controversial, a bit of a symbolization of colonization. Anyway, I don't want to get into the political ramifications too much.
He's already in the GI Joes. He is fighting for freedom, so he's already.
But here's the missed opportunity of which I speak. What do you think of giving this an eagle, sort of eagle in flight, or eagle like descending
silhouette
motif?
For sure.
Instead of the stars and stripes.
You could definitely have done that.
You see, I think it would have been cool as well, but then you also run the risk of being offensive by using traditional imagery to create that silhouette. So it's like and listen, you can
freedom
do that
too, dude. Freedom too.
Yeah, I mean that's what it could be. And at the end of the day, all it takes is a phone call with the local representative for that sort of cultural entity, and to say, hey, listen, this is what we'd like to do. How do we do it properly in a way that is like sort of positive and says the right thing? But then there's also that's a conversation that has to be had, and Hasbro's like, we've got to make toys, dude. We haven't got time for phone calls.
So it was also the 90s. But do you like this design? I guess is the first question, most important question. Like, how does it stack up with the other design?
For me, it feels like the most un-GI Joe of the whole bunch.
Wow,
it's weird, man. It's Evil Knievel.
Yes, actually, it's very American.
It's not very combat. It's not even very like 90s Joe, because
no, man, it's Apollo Creed, dude. Like that.
Yes, absolutely. Living in America. Yeah, Cloudburst is undeniably 90s wackadoo.
With awesome topography.
Cool design, man.
Yeah, definitely.
This just steps outside of, like, Spirits just steps outside of what I deem as, like, acceptable military vehicle.
Yeah.
Or G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Which is probably a contradiction in terms, but, like, it's a weird choice.
America,
to be wearing the flag, basically.
Fuck yeah.
What say you, Robbie?
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. But it is kind of, if you compare it to Skymate and Cloudburst, these are kind of like plays on, I suppose, camouflage in a way. Skymate is very traditional, while Cloudburst is very like techno camouflage, as it were.
Yeah,
It's
digicamo kind of
very
thing.
like
Yeah.
digicamo. Well, his one is this very, it does stand out as being not the same design philosophy going on there. Like with his, yeah, maybe if it could have just been a combination of blue and red and white, so at least you get the idea of the colors of the flag, but not being an actual flag. So it does kind of stand out as being the most. It doesn't fit with the other two designs as well, for sure.
But I do think that Spirit is a great addition to this subset. I
Yes,
like,
we
even
needed
though,
him back.
yeah, and even though he's never like really shown, or that, even though he has never been advertised to have any kind of, sort of aeronautical prowess, um, I do love that he is the leader of these dudes, and that
Yeah,
he's,
he's kind of showing off. I mean, because
well, when
yeah,
I say I do love that he's part of them, being the leader. Sorry, before people
okay.
think I'm backpedaling. Yeah, carry on, Robert. Yeah.
No, I was just saying it. I mean, all the other guys are very, very well um, classified, or at least equipped to be able to do these things. Their file cards are all very fascinating, um, in the way they kind of describe. Like I think Cloudburst grew up like designing his own gliders in a very professional way, and helping design stealth gliders for the military. And then you
Jeez.
get Sky Creeper, who's very much, I don't know. I'm just going to read his file card for you.
Please do.
Sky Creeper fashioned his first glider out of bed sheets and broom handles, and used it to successfully break out of reform school. He launched a criminal career based on robbing the patrons of fancy rooftop restaurants and escaping via glider into the night sky.
What
Recruited
a
into
dick.
Cobra by one of the Dreadnoks during a prison term, Sky Creeper originated the Night Vultures, a covert air recon unit which he commands. Sky Creeper is not a glider enthusiast who happens to be a criminal. He's a criminal with an interest in gliders as long as they help promote his illicit activities. He is not at all enraptured by a glider's graceful lines, fluid controls, or its bird like feeling of oneness with the sky. His only concern is whether it will carry enough loot and still avoid radar detection. Yeah. So
Uh,
he trained the Night Vultures apparently.
yeah, I feel like it should be the other way around.
Because if you go on to read the Night Vultures file card, they
Yeah.
are exceptionally professional.
They're like ninjas.
No, they're
Essentially,
not.
they're covert. Well, they kind of are. So I'll read their file card for
We
comparison.
can have an evaluation of that.
Night Vultures are the airborne covert insertion and recon specialists of the Cobra Legions.
So
Given
ninjas.
no formal training, the candidates for the Night Vultures program are dropped with their gliders from transports over shark-infested waters at least 5 miles from land. Whoever makes it back is awarded the Night Vultures badge and gets to keep the personal effects of the dropouts. Okay, wow, that is a lot different from what I thought it was going to be.
That's actually very ninja, dude.
Yeah, but it sounds a lot more like they're plucking these guys from the streets, handing them a glider and saying whoever survives is good enough to make the cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so like this makes me want to believe that they're an extension in a weird way of Night Creepers.
Well, they do fill out Cobra's like unofficial night force of
Yeah.
Night Vipers, Night Creepers, now Night Vultures.
Night
I suppose you could
Vultures.
add the Cobra Night Watch in there. Night
Okay, well then
Force.
they aren't as good as I thought they were actually. Maybe I was confusing them with the Cobra Daredevil.
So
No. I think you're confusing them. If you have any long range recall, I made a case for them being essentially like evil Snake Eyeses.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
You are remembering my endless yammering and not
Yo.
the official file card.
Okay, well
Yeah.
there we go.
And
But
also
like,
that
if you
David
look
and
at their appearance, they are absolutely goggles wearing Snake Eyes.
Yes, especially when you look at the file card as well.
You
yeah,
look,
like
he's
the
carrying
photos.
a nunchuck,
yeah.
Mhm.
famously difficult martial arts weapon to wield. His included accessory is equal parts submachine gun and crossbow.
Because
This could
Because
almost have
realistically,
been a rejected like fourth version of
I
Snake Eyes.
thank you, Rob.
that was
Thank
the
you
brief, guys. Evil Snake Eyes. I think
Mm,
this is supposed to be a reanimated dead man. Because if
wow.
you look at the sculpting on his mouth, it is skeletal. His balaclava is so sucked into that mouth that you can see the sort of striations of the jawbone. I don't know.
Interesting.
What would you
Okay,
call
so
that?
he
From the
might have
top,
been on
the
was
mandible,
the
like
the
the
man
top
jaw.
the
lip,
teeth.
yeah, where your
Yeah.
moustache is, the sort of the bone underneath there has those kind of ridges.
Scapula. I'm sure
And
your
you
wife
absolutely
will
can
It's
see
tell us
not
that.
a
what those
scapula.
bones are called.
But that okay, so I'm glad you bring that up, Steve, because
Yeah.
so Dave always used to play Night Vulture out as a ninja. In fact, one of the reasons they've got the Night Vulture in the first place is because he wanted a bad guy character for his story that he was always playing out with his guys.
Hmm.
And he is like the evil version of Snake Eyes. And I actually do think that Night Vulture, or it was either a prototype for a new Night Creeper, or could have possibly have been a new Snake Eyes figure, because the visor is very similar to version 4 Snake Eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
for sure. I mean, also on the card art, they look very similar to him as well.
yeah, there's just something about him that just I feel like if you had put him in Snake Eyes version 4 colors, you could probably sell him off as being Snake Eyes. And
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody in the comments has done that. Or has done a custom or has seen a custom like that, and I'd love to see that. So please point us to that. Link us in the comments.
So of the three, then actually, it's the Air Devils who sound from their file card to be the most professional, actually. And it's interesting. I mean, obviously they come out a year later, so their file card format is a bit different. We have the kind of bullet points that point out different features of the character.
Yeah.
And it starts with a quote, and it's a fantastic quote. So this is from the Cobra Air Devil file card. Quote: "Never fight in the open when you can ambush from cover. Never ambush from cover when you can set a well-hidden explosive booby trap." End quote. That's pretty cool.
You know, it's almost like a haiku. It's just shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, interesting.
And then it continues to say, Cobra Air Devils are the frontline stealth assault air commandos of the Cobra Legions. Highly trained in unorthodox combat styles and plain dirty fighting, their mission is to penetrate deep behind GI Joe lines to wreak havoc amid the support units and supply lines. Lightly armed to save weight and increase their gliding range, Air Devils are expected to procure heavier weapons and ammunition from anybody they can sneak up behind and overcome. These guys receive a cursory 3-day glider training course, just enough to enable them to get to their targets. It's almost like it's a different toy line. From the year before, it's this guy who knows who just glides because he feels it's the easiest way to rob people, and he trained a bunch of people and their training was essentially whoever survived flying gliders for 5 miles was part of the force. And then these guys, they almost sound like Solid Snake. You kind of sent into the enemy lines, and you're supposed to get your own weapons and equipment.
So I feel like Air Devil was never meant to be an air commando. So I feel like Sky Creeper, Skymate, and Cloudburst were totally designed to be air commandos, like with the concept of the gimmick in mind. And Night Vulture was added to that as this could actually be a great place for this toy to be. And then later on, Air Devil and Spirit were added to
They
that.
came in the next year, yeah.
Because Skymate, like Cloudburst has got he's got a high altitude look to him. Skymate also kind of does with his functionality, being able to stick everything to his body. And what's his face? Sky Creeper also has, a lot of. I mean, Sky Creeper just looks like a deranged cyclist. But to be fair, he's
or
like
baddie from Gatchaman.
Yeah,
he has got a bit of a Gatchaman thing to him. Yeah, he does look a bit like
that beak,
the
the
Galactor.
nose.
Yeah. He's got a bit of a Galactor look to him. Yeah, definitely. But
Well, he also packs Megatron. Let's not lose sight of the fact that his included accessory is a Walther P38 with the attachment scopes.
oh,
It's
unhand me,
literally-
you hairless ape. I
I pulled this from our actual review because why wouldn't I? I did a wait. Share the damn screen. Come on, don't stop me now. Oh, I can't share
stop
WhatsApp.
me. No.
Oh well, what you gonna do?
Don't stop
So
me. You're having a good time.
so I
Very
think
glad.
yeah, so I think this is like kind of one of those hodgepodge. Maybe they rushed the gliders out a little bit at the last minute, or when it comes to the conceptualizing side of it. This is just purely speculation, but maybe it is just some food for thought. Again, people in the comments, if you know, especially Carson,
know.
if you listen to our show and you pick up on this, I've got a feeling you might have some insight on this.
So Stephen is showing us a comparison of different
Megatrons.
so it's the original Megatron, well the reissue, versus where did that smaller one come? Like who did that?
Masterpiece.
Masterpiece Optimus Prime had that.
Yes.
Well, if you bought Optimus Prime with the trailer, I think it was one of the extras.
He
Or maybe
comes with
got
it, yeah. And
And
I give that to
then-
Cobra Commander usually.
Sky Creepers
Sideshow.
too big for Cobra Commander.
side
Sideshow.
gun. That's just actually it really does. It looks almost exactly like
It's crazy. Like
Yep.
because
actually-
especially because of that barrel extension. I never knew that it existed except with Megatron. I never thought of that as like is that an actual thing that you can
Yeah,
attach?
the man from Uncle. But yeah, no, like the barrel extension, the whole sort of turning the Walther P38 into a carbine. That got some popular media appearances in Spy Show. Is that right?
Man
The
from
Man from
Uncle.
Uncle?
Rob, that's
Yeah.
what Rob
Oh,
said now. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Man from Uncle, and I mean that's
Either
Bond-
way, I mean, there's no way Skycreeper is just a humble thief and blackguard when he harnesses the power of a mini black hole.
Yes, Megatron's
I
disruptor.
mean, Megatron is the most destructive force in all Transformerdom, if you, well, depending on what source you listen to.
But and also just my sideshow Cobra Commander handles Masterpiece Megatron just fine.
Okay.
Because Masterpiece Megatron's got quite a cool little feature in it where the barrel can kind of slide a little bit to make it easier to grip for the Masterpiece Transformers, so that you can have a bit of the butt sticking at the bottom of the hand.
Yeah.
And that also helps the sideshow figures as well. So
fantastic.
just saying, and it looks cool. And it'd look cool in Destro's hand if I had a sideshow Destro. But I digress. Let's not go off on a tangent. So, as is usually the case with these kind of things, I know that I know that Steve's excited about this because he usually suggests this kind of thing. What do you guys? Okay, so should we do it? There's a best of the best here. So should we do, like Steve? You suggested best glider and best pilot. I mean,
it's two separate.
Yeah, like as two separate things, which I agree with. And then, like, yeah, like, are there any ideas extra that you've had since we discussed this topic?
Well, let's pick one from each faction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Pick your best Cobra glider and Cobra pilot. Your best Joe glider and pilot.
Wow.
Or combo thereof, if you prefer, to keep your set all together.
Okay.
Together.
I
think I'm going to get controversial, maybe.
Whoa.
And say that my favorite glider is absolutely Cloudbursts.
Whoa. Steven.
Okay. Say it,
and not
so.
least of which because it became the replacement of the ubiquitous parachute in the Deke series. So in classic Sunbow style, characters would always bail out of their crafts and deploy a parachute and descend to safety. Well, Deke one up their game by making them deploy not just any old glider, but the Cloudburst design. I theorize that it's probably easier to animate whatever this digital camo is, this sort of blue and purple, than it is to try and animate this blotchy camo that SkyMate came with. But
Yeah,
maybe
probably because the clashing colors are.
familiarity breeding contempt, but like SkyMate's, it's all right. But
Wow. You think it's only
Cloudburst
alright?
is sick, dude. It is 90s gloriousness. And somehow has like technical design, like an overlay of like lines
Circuitry.
and panels indicating this thing would be like made of metal, and
Yeah, there's like
riveted
circuitry to
together.
it, something as well.
Yeah.
What?
Weird.
That's wild. That is some crazy words you're throwing out there.
Mad words.
Anyway,
Ooh,
so that's
Okay.
Steven's favorite GI Joe glider. It's gonna
crazy.
take a while to get through all of this.
Oof.
Gonna take a long time.
And Rob, your favorite glider?
My favorite Joe glider. I would probably have to say Cloudburst 2, actually.
Cloudburst.
It is the most interesting. I mean, we've already said that like Spirits just kind of stands out too much as not fitting the theme, as it were. And it really is a cool design. And also the glider itself is a little more simple, more straightforward than Spirit. Spirit kind of has like a little bit extra like feathery additions to the end of his glider.
I do like that part of the silhouette.
You
I think
do
that's
actually.
I like that. I like the silhouette. Yeah.
Well, I like the simplicity of this one.
Did you guys
Okay.
put your character's arms up or down? Down looks weird, but up looks like fine.
But they need to do something with the hands. I'd like to think he's holding on to something above him.
It would be nice if they had some grip as part of the sculpted sort of
Yeah.
framework of this
To
thing.
also protect the figure, I feel.
Yeah, but there's nothing for them to hold on to. It's a weird situation. I mean, there would be controls. You would have to have some kind of maybe cabling system.
Unless he's using his feet, because I mean they all come with little like foot pegs that you can shove one like a foot into.
Yep.
So maybe they control the thing with their feet, so they can shoot.
Yep. Paul, your favorite Joe glider?
Ooh, Joe.
Yeah. A special mention should be given to SkyMate's very cool kangaroo, like design that goes on his glider, and that obscene machine gun collective that is on the top of his glider. But the coolest glider is definitely Cloudburst's.
Wow. Okay, that's a clean sweep for Joe.
Yeah.
That is GI Joburg's favorite Joe glider.
All right, let's jump around into Cobra figure.
Cobra
You kick this one off, Rob.
Interesting. So I feel like it's between Night Vulture and Cobra Daredevil. They're the more interesting of the two. Like Sky Creeper's maybe a little too out there with his bright yellow design and his green top, and his kind of like hockey pads on his thighs. It's a bit too much. I mean, he's the most sensible dressed. He is actually the most protected. Like he really doesn't trust being in the sky. And it really does fit his file card where like he does it because this is the best way that he's found to steal stuff. And he wants to be as safe as possible. Oof. It's so difficult. Or if I had to settle out,
Easiest to find in the lawn.
Actually. Okay, I'm gonna say Night Vulture. I think Night Vulture, Steven's talked this guy up so much that he really is he is a legend. And because he looks so similar to Snake Eyes, it also makes him look so cool.
Still need one in my life as well.
You do need one, Paul.
I do need a Night
Look
Vulture.
under your Christmas tree.
Oh, there's nothing.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump in the middle then and say Night Vulture as well for me.
Whoa!
No contest. No contest is Night Vulture for me. Daredevil looks like a welder, like he's supposed to have come with a heavy armored vehicle as a vehicle driver. And
why does he have the drop down visor? Just to protect his face.
Like no, he looks like
already
a welder.
got goggles on.
Yeah, no, he's just, like, I don't know. I think he's meant to have been like a flame unit or some kind of welder or something, because like he feels like he should be part of the Dreadnoks like 2.0 in a
I
weird
feel
way.
like they thought that GI Joe had one character with like a visor, so one of the Cobra Air Commanders had to have the same thing,
So
and he was the only one that they could do it to, because his
Um,
face is the flattest.
well, it does prevent damage to the figure's face. But I mean,
Yeah.
you are absolutely going to dink up and scar up this transparent plastic, which is
Mm.
why it's a very hard to find piece. And I'm going to crib Form BX257's review of this set and this figure and
Mm.
say, who does that amazing jawline remind you of?
Hmm.
oh, man.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The Doctor from Star Trek Voyager. It's Robert Picardo,
Oh,
ladies and
wow,
gentlemen.
yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he can't be my favorite.
What
Okay,
is the nature of
that
the medical
don't you
emergency?
like the Doctor
No, I
from?
do, but
Uh,
I don't see him as a evil person.
okay.
I can't see him flying a glider.
No, that I can't see. I can't see him flying.
This is
gliders either.
incredible. We are clean sweeping stuff right now. We are all in incredible agreement.
Yeah, we are in sync.
All right, Cobra Glider. Rob, you led the charge
Ooh,
last time. I led the charge the
I
first time.
did. I
Paul, I
think
think
Paul.
Yay!
you can weigh in on this one, or you can weigh on the Joe figure.
Yeah, it's your choice. Which one do you want to go
No,
first?
I'll go first on the gliders
Okay.
because
Okay.
despite the fact that, and I'm going to ruin this for every single person watching and listening to this, aside from the fact that every one of the Cobra gliders does look like one of the Mogwai from Gremlins 2, you can decide which is which, but because those Cobra sigils do look like eyes, and the scratchy tones on them make it look like the mouth. So
Oh,
I
they
just
do. Yeah,
so I just see
actually.
like Gizmo, kind of vibe.
Wow.
But of the two favorites, I like old Sky Creepers glider the most. I like the color combination. I just really hate those Cobra sigils. I wish they'd removed that. Because I love that color combination. I think it's a lot of fun.
They do
Uh,
seem a little bit like overkill.
yeah, they just
They
look
could
like
have just put
eyes.
one on. It would have
Yeah,
been
that
much
would have been
better.
enough. Yeah,
One
but
in the
now you've got
center.
it's
Oh
just
god, he's
weird.
got 4 of them. Oh no, Steven showed us the underside. This is too
It's
much.
just it's too much.
He's too proud to be a Cobra.
Yeah, but it does look like like
No, that
especially if
one
you turn it
especially.
upside down.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
turn it upside down, so the
So
nose is
nose
facing
down
down,
and then
and shows
reverse.
the top,
So shows the top, but
and
like but
then
the
nose
gun's down.
down,
The gun's
nose
down.
down. There we go.
There we go.
Now
See?
that's a great
Yeah.
one.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Oh jeez. And yet it's still your favorite.
Well, it's the best of the bad lot, unfortunately.
Wow. So you think they're all bad?
I think they're all bad.
Phew, you're poor.
It's the Cobra sigils, man. It's too much marketing.
It's too much. Well, I mean, I think probably the Cobra Daredevil is probably my favorite because I think it's very straightforward. It's got the big coiling like pattern in the middle I don't know what's it called, scales, and also then it's got a special unique version of the Cobra symbol with like the tail on it. So they're like
And the little
air
devil horn.
devils, and devil horns. That's probably
Mm.
the most customized, at least on the Cobra side.
For my money, it's the strongest design for sure.
Yes.
But I just can't get over the whole. Every one of these has got 2 Cobra sigils, and I just don't like that color combination personally.
I think it's kind of cool, and I
And
like
that's
that
why
they
you
have.
chose it.
That is exactly why I chose it. So,
Yeah.
Stephen, are you going to choose the other one as your favorite?
We can sing the praises of Night Vultures sort of being the least complicated.
Yes, it is the most straightforward.
It's this spooky set of eyes looking down at you, and then this color break. It could be mountains, I feel like Fantasia,
Mm.
that night on Bald Mountain sequence. But you know what? I'm gonna go total 90s bonanza and say Sky Creepers
Wow.
Glider is far and away my favorite. It's so busy. It's got all those pop colors. It's a masterpiece.
I dig it. I'm also a huge fan, as you
Interesting.
heard.
Okay, so the favorite of GI Joburg is Sky Creepers.
But statistically, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
even though you hate it.
Rob
And
had
before we do our favorite Joe figure,
oh,
does anyone want to
special
talk
mention.
about the included weapon systems? Because
Yes.
on the bubble, you got a figure, you got a glider, you got the
And
biggest accessories, be it a gun and a visor, or a boomerang and a visor and a
Megatron.
compound bow, Megatron, exactly. But in addition to that, there was one bit of assembly that was required to make your glider complete, and that is to mushroom peg in a weapon system into the front of this glider. I think that probably helped keep the glider material firmly attached to the spine, rigid plastic spine. Because other than that, it's just attached via one other sort of push pin.
Yeah.
And this little hook at the very tail.
That's
so yeah, 3 points of attachment. Now it's secure. And it's not going anywhere. And boy, oh boy, I've never tried to take these guns off, but that mushroom peg seems pretty secure. It's even too tight to move on some examples. But each one, there was 2 Cobra variations and 2 Joe variations. I'll hold up the Cobra variations for now. The Joes were both in silver. The Cobras were in this toxic green.
Or green.
So either they had 2 barrels or 1 barrel.
Well, you might think so, but I think the sort of slender one has 3 barrels. It's a sort of rotary gun.
That's just like a Vulcan cannon almost.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So
I
like more,
can
boys.
see it now from this angle, Stephen.
I like the single.
Whew.
Okay, that's where we differ. I don't.
Wow.
I like the ridiculous multi-headed Hydra that is Skymate's glider's gun. It's my favorite.
I like the
of
lower
them.
profile of that one as well. So the 2-gun variant is also my favorite. Like the 3-gun, the slimmer barrel feels more like it's a gun that they've just attached to it.
Right.
While the other one feels more like it's made for the glider.
Yeah.
And what do you think the sound of this double gun that I'm holding up at the moment is? Really? I think it's more like an energy weapon, like a boom, 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 boom.
I just see that like big gun of Skymates, and I just think of like top-down 2D shooters and just.
You're not talking about Skymates now,
but
pal.
I'm just saying, like in general, like that's just what that inspires me. So when I bring it backwards, I think everything that they have just shoots little like colorful bullets.
Okay.
You know?
Traces.
Yeah.
But different colors.
Like you know what, Rob? I think you've won me over. I think the lower profile of the 2-barreled Cobra weapon.
That's a good-looking gun. I agree. But I do think the Cobra weapons are energy weapons.
Okay.
Sure.
Because of the piping. There's something about the piping that just speaks to me of them being that.
And forgive me, my Joe example, my Skymate with the sort of 4 barrels, all of those barrels cracked off immediately. This is my childhood glider after all. But if you can imagine 4 little barrels sticking off the front of this block of destruction, that relative to the single, what would this be? Like a recoilless cannon?
Yeah,
once again, high caliber gun.
Once again, I'll go for the low profile one. There's just something about it fitting in better.
Need I say anything? I think we know exactly where I stand.
Full agreement. Because once again, the Joe single barrel one looks even more like they've just attached a gun.
Yeah, it seems to have a handle. Yeah, so that handle is way too thick to actually get a figure's.
Yeah, so it almost feels like they just took it off a different toy line and they just shoved it on top there. Which is possibly what they've done with all of these little guns, actually.
Very likely.
They probably come from other toy lines.
I don't think these guys are able to aim very accurately, so having 4 barrels spitting out a high rate of fire, is, making them sort of an area weapon attack.
Good shot.
Is probably beneficial than having a single barrel spitting out larger caliber bullets. Though maybe the Cloudburst variety, maybe the single barrel is actually a rotary gun inside there.
Who knows? Maybe. But it just looks, I don't know, I like the low profile better. There's just something about it.
Right, onto the main event, gentlemen.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Your favorite GI Joe. I think it's a 2-horse race, to be honest. But let's say something nice about Cloudburst straight off the bat. He's wearing a very snappy waistcoat with suspenders. Like, this guy's uniform is so weird. white pants, like blindingly white pants.
He's a fitness instructor that's stripping your wife. He's got that vibe.
He's he's got these kind of boot cuffs or boot covers, like they're essentially leg warmers. Like, what is that? He's got padding on the outer thighs, and it's in this kind of hot pink, which kind of ties it in with his Heckler and Koch MP5. My goodness.
Very strange decision. Whatever's going on there, and then he has like those weird gloves. It's kind of like you just pop those gloves on, which are white, like his pants.
Mickey Mouse gloves, dude. He's got
Yeah.
white gloves. Bizarre. But perhaps the most bizarre thing, in addition to him having the most obscenely large biceps, like they are huge, front and back. Is this guy padding himself out to make himself look tough?
I told you guys, he's like a fitness instructor. Like he's
well, and they suddenly end. Like there's this kind of step down to the standard
the
elbow articulation piece.
Yeah.
He missed his elbow day. He skips elbow day, dude.
I don't know what's going on. But it's done in a kind of a dragon scale. It's like it's chainmail. Whatever it is. It's got a rough texture like it is lizard. Reptilian.
Does that continue onto the lower forearm?
Yes, the forearm, yes.
Okay, the texture.
But, a limitation of O-ring construction was that joint, the elbow joint, had to be smooth.
Yeah.
So it's a weird break in both size and texture. So it goes rough, smooth, rough.
Probably his best detail is his head. With kind of the visor attached to it, and that kind of interesting helmet design.
Which, once again, Formbex257 is very quick to point out. When you take the visor out, looks like he's got big ears.
Hey guys, I want to shoot
very svelte helmet. It looks like kind of turn of the century American football helmets, or any kind of sporting helmet from like the ye olde days. But then it's got this like teched out like circuitry design around the back. So this guy's freaking Lobot, man.
Well, throw him in front of the camera there, facing us with his visor off. Doopy 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 doop. Yeah, totally Malcolm in the middle, little Dewey there. Dig it.
Right. So that's all I have to say about Cloudburst, I guess. I actually I think about this figure a lot more than I think about the Roman Empire. I can tell you that much.
All right, good to know. Thanks, Steve.
This guy lives rent free in my brain. Honestly, because maybe it's that core memory of like deciding against getting him as a child and always being like, well, what a unique entry into the GI Joe team. This guy who has almost like a singular purpose. He doesn't come from Australian SAS and he isn't a legacy GI Joe, but he knows gliders, man. He's GI Joe's #1 guy when it comes to masterminding a glider centric.
Yeah, he's a glider nerd. Like that's all he thinks about all day long.
We got the killer, the leader, and the nerd.
There we go
for the Joes.
So I think it's probably no surprise. I mean, I'm just gonna assume that Skymet is our favorite GI Joe of Air Commandos.
Paul might be the dark horse here.
I might be the dark horse there. Yeah, no.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say it's Skymet for me. I grew up with this figure. He is very uniquely an Air Commando. All the extra features that kind of make him an Air Commando, make him cool. Like we have said before, he's got the little holster. You can attach the bow to his chest. And like his design is very interesting overall as well. The kind of like knife sheath on his left arm. The colors, thankfully, aren't too offensive. The combination of the black and the green and the kind of yellow accents. He's got lots of interesting things to look at on him. And a really great mustache.
He's Man-at-Arms, dude. He even looks like Man-at-Arms from the Motu movie. Live action, yeah. I must say, on paper, Skymate is absolute win for everything that you mentioned now because of the features, etc., etc. He is it even adds more to that list when we live in the time that we do now, where I can retrospectively, or should I say, retrospectively look at him and be like, I love that the boomerang is pink and that his cap is pink. I love that he's got
Mm.
bright yellow accents for his outfit. I love that he's everything that made owning a mountain bike in the 1990s cool because they were all neon. I love that about Skymate. He is great, but he is not Spirit, and I really love a Commando Spirit
Okay.
because we need a contemporary version of Spirit in GI Joe. The original Spirit design is fantastic, but it does fit itself into a Western film, into a Western like cowboy movie kind of aesthetic. Now, I hope when I say that I'm not offending or being offensive. That's not my intention. I just feel like he looks like he's out of his time period. Um,
Interesting. I don't
yeah,
know. I feel his design is fantastic. That original design.
I
I was
agree. I
I
totally
was trying
do.
to find a way of this being a better design,
So
and to
I
me,
just
it's not a better design.
see. I
This
like
to
this.
me feels even more stereotypically
Interesting because I
Native
feel this
American.
like I feel like this kind of steps away in that it gives Spirit like an on the ground kind of military or should I say contemporary kind of look. He's got a bit
Mm.
of an extreme sports angle going for him. Not terribly wild about that green and that blue being combined, but
Oh, dude, this is 90s action man
Yeah,
spirit.
it's kind of like he's wearing jeans with boots and a
and he
green
is
shirt.
kind of wearing jeans because of the way the figure lining. And I actually feel like one day there's a figure we got to put him under the magnifying glass. He's got an insanely cool gun. He's got this rad headband. He's got a ponytail that could make original Scarlet figure just very jealous. He's great. I really, really love this version of Spirit.
And he has a lot of grenades.
He's got a lot of grenades, and I would be remiss to like put anybody above him um, in the sky in the Air Commandos line. That
Mm.
said, I don't think there's a bad GI Joe in the Air Commandos. I think they're all actually
Wow.
pretty decent figures. Cloudburst not being my favorite, can't fault him. I think I can't fault him too hard. He's a cool toy. Rob, there's Spirit's file card. Steve is
Cluster
showing us.
bomb grenades and quick
Wow.
grab smokescreen bombs. So he's got
Okay.
it all, man.
Use and knee protectors for his rugged western pants.
He's also got a medicine bag, so it's a little carryover from like not an individuated accessory, but on his file card it calls out that the sort of little thing on his side is his medicine bag.
Yeah, and a warrior's battle dress attack shirt.
It's
So
a
they still.
90s wife beater or whatever you call it.
This is this is activewear from the 90s. It's like this
Totally.
is like a rave vest, bro. Like
And he will revive a fallen comrade on GI Joe: The
that's
Atlantis
right.
Factor.
crazy.
Just call me.
Yep. So this figure sees use not in any animation, but
In the video.
in a video game. A very important video game for us at GI Joburg.
Mm.
And I'm very happy to have him in my life. Thank you, Steve.
Good. You're welcome.
Yeah.
This figure found its way into the pages of, I'm going to say, the IDW continuity in the hands of Shannon Gallant, who I think it was in Cobra New World Order. There's a very like domestic scene, and Spirit's there, and he's in kind of casual clothes, but he definitely is rocking the Air Commandos bandana.
Mm.
So this lovely zigzag white and red bandana.
It's a cool bandana.
And it's like, that is a deep cut, man.
Mm.
SL Gallant, you are still a hero in my eyes. You know, no matter what, what's his face, Mooneyhan is doing with Joe at the moment, like that guy was a steward of the book for like hundreds of issues, probably
Yeah.
more than anyone, any one single penciler
In
on
GI
GI
Joe.
Joe.
Oh,
So
agreed.
the fact that he had that kind of draw on the toys themselves to include that detail, amazing. I tried to find it, but he penciled a lot of issues.
Mm.
Yeah.
What you got there, Paulus?
This
Got a
is
blocky.
yeah, it's a Blocky's Transformers Starscream. Also from our same
Soundwave.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Starscream now. Sorry, I meant to say
if it was yellow, I was almost about to say it's like one of those. What is that show called? With the little robot character. Okay, that's completely unhelpful. But he
Yeah,
was like
thank you.
yellow. He was yellow and black, and it was similar to. It's not like Pokemon, but it was that kind of
Oh,
show.
Metabots.
Metabots, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
With them
there's
being so blurry, I was
So-
like, that looks like Metabot.
So I got a handful of these. I got Grimlock.
Wow.
Hey, talking to the mic, you.
Oh, sorry,
Oh,
but
come
it's just that I have to
on.
like. There we go. So I got a few of these. I got Grimlock. I
Wow.
got Skywarp.
Cool.
Yes,
That's
Absolutely
great.
incredible. So,
and Prowl, because of course. So
well, of course, yeah, you had to get that.
I've
So,
got my favorites. Yeah.
Air Commandos. There
Yes.
you go.
So yeah, sorry. The reason I actually brought these up,
Yeah, I was wondering
why I brought them up is
This is
because
an amazing segue.
Steve was
It's like,
talking about like SL Gallant, and then we were just talking about like throwbacks, and then I just thought of these Transformers, and then it's been like this weird like Transformer episode where they have snuck in a little bit with Megatron's gun.
okay.
So I couldn't help it, and then also show that
Couldn't help
Skywarp's also got a glider. Ooh.
Whoa. So yeah, so that was the Air Commandos from 91 and 92. They are obviously something that we all very much enjoy here at GI Joburg. I do not own any of them, but I enjoy knowing that they exist and that Stephen owns them, and Paul has one.
Two of them.
Two of them.
I've got Skymate and Spirit. Yeah.
So yeah. Were
Hopefully
these
one
your
day.
favorites from the 90s, guys? For those who were collecting 90s figures at Berg Force? Let us know in the comments down below. Who is your favorite Air Commando?
And share your experiences.
Yeah, did you have any wild stories of throwing them onto the roof, or like being on like a bridge over a like highway, and you just threw it and it landed on a truck and it got taken away from you and never saw him again?
Did an ancient entity that appears as a clown lure you into the sewers when your glider went in there? Tell us. I mean, if you survived the encounter, tell us. We want to know in the comments.
Or that evil entity, you can tell us how you lured a kid into the sewers and by stealing his Air Commandos.
That would be very good for not just us, but also the FBI.
For sure, I'm sure they definitely want to know.
They'd love to like remove somebody like that out of the general population.
Mulder and Scully onto it.
Yeah, for sure. And then lastly, and I think this is super important, please tell us how you played with your gliders. Like, just to circle back to all of this. What kind of missions do you put your guys in? Do you just forgo the gliders and like, do you totally just forgo the gliders and put them into vehicles like locusts or whatever it may be? Tell us. I'm very curious. Are you upset that they never had them in the video game or had a video game where you could fly them around?
Yeah. Are you upset that the battle copters got featured instead of the Air Commandos? Was that something that you were very upset about? Are you upset that we featured the Air Commandos and not the battle copters?
Well, we're going to still feature the battle copters one day. I mean, we have spoken briefly about the battle copters. I just feel like we needed service for this. Anyway, you guys, I'm so sorry. You guys, is there something else you want to add to our glider friends here?
Let us know.
Gliding friends? No, I'm talking about you, Rob and Steve.
Oh, I don't know. This is very okay.
I'm all sewn up, thanks, Paul. Sweet. Yeah, man. I'm ready to glide out of here. Hope you guys have enjoyed listening to us yam on about these obscure figures. And yes, they are pretty obscure. We've spoken about how extremely niche they are. These specializations of like guys who basically make their assaults using wind power and thermals. Did you have some kind of contrived way of including them, or did they just sit at the back of the shelf somewhere and gather dust?
Yeah. And did you just give the glider to your younger siblings or something? Tell us, we want to know. But as always, guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel by liking and subscribing to us here on YouTube, joining the GI Joburg YouTube membership, or joining the Patreon, or both in some cases, which some of you have done. So thank you very much. That's really, really cool of you. Does support the channel, does help us keep this as a hobby, so we can carry on doing this for ourselves and for you guys. So thank you. As we get into the festive season, I am, and I've said this before, I'm nearly done on the final touches for a little bit of new merch, which I'm hoping I can get out before this next weekend so that you guys have enough time if you're interested in getting one for yourselves or your loved ones. And we will see you again soon with our
Oh, I've got one.
next.
I got something. Something
Whoa.
for you guys to chew on, maybe on your way out.
Let
This
me chew.
comes courtesy of
Well, I
GI Joe
smell teeth.
Chronicles, fabulous podcast that I had the pleasure of listening to, on which Gary V was guesting.
Hey,
And the question
Gary.
came up for the class
Hmm.
of the 90s subgroups, which one was the best?
Wow.
They
Oh,
are Eco Warriors,
Eco
Sky Commandos, Sky Patrol,
Patrol.
sorry,
Yeah.
Air
Air
Commandos,
Commandos,
Sky
Air
Patrol,
Patrol.
Sonic Fighters,
Sonic
Supersonic Fighters, Talking Battle Commanders,
Whoa.
DEF. Did I leave anything else?
Battle
Ninja
Corps.
Force.
Would you
Let's say Ninja
consider
Force.
Battle Corps a subset? No.
Battle Corps is literally just
Ninja Force.
GI Joe.
Ninja Force.
Yeah, Ninja Force.
I
Ninja
just
Force
don't recall you saying Ninja
Counts.
Force.
Steven
Probably
did
not.
not say
Okay,
Ninja Force.
so is Air Commandos number one?
Wow.
I don't want to say that here.
Wow.
Well, we'll have to save that for another episode. But food for
Yes.
thought. I
Definitely.
mean, based purely on the figures, if you take the vehicles out of it, because let's
Take them
face it,
away.
obviously Sky Patrol have the best vehicles. They got a freaking Sky Raven covered in chrome.
Come on.
Can't beat that. But like, Air Commandos
Yes,
cannot
because of
be
bike.
overlooked. They gave
Mhm.
us 6 brand new figures, no reuse parts, not even any reuse accessories. Even though Cloudburst's MP5
Shitty
looks-
machine gun. Ugh.
well, it's similar to, but not the same as trackers.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Yeah, dude, I love this sub team. I think they are so unique. They might
really are.
They might just be my
So
favorite
special.
You-
sub team of the
but
90s.
don't blow your load here, Steve. Let's save that for a future episode.
Is this requires some evaluation? I love Eco Warriors as well.
Yeah.
There's too much self-reflection. on
DEF
this.
was so good too.
Crap, you know
All
me.
right.
I will probably pick like 2, then have a runner-up, and then have a third one just for shits and giggles to annoy Steve. It's
No,
gonna
you
be a
gotta
great
kill your
episode
darlings,
when we
man.
get to that one.
Gotta be decisive. It's the burning building argument, always. Gun to the head.
Then
know
I
I'm
burn
making
with
you
the
guys anxious, but
building.
This makes for interesting discussion.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for on GI
course.
Joburg. Thanks for
We
GI
listening,
Joburg.
and check you next week. Yo, Joe.
Bird. Enemies of the air. Or enemies in the air, beware. What? Come on, do something. Do a pose.